The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We have great people. We have Barron home. He's watching. That Barron is watching. He's the king of the Internet. He's the king of the Internet. Oh. Who was that? That's very nice.
DraftBarronTrump.com is live on the internet, and it speaks directly to the heart of what many Americans have been feeling, not just lately, but probably for some time now. It says that the elites that run this country don't really care about us, not about our livelihoods, not about our lives. So you all know by now that the US and Israel, or the US on behalf of Israel, attacked Iran over the weekend. So it's been a strange and disappointing and just sad few days. But if there's one thing Americans excel at, it's finding humor in the most inappropriate moments. Millennials are used to it by now. We have been coping hard since like 2001. We had incredible childhoods, so incredible that I hear that Gen Z is now jealous. But then Y2K really did a number on us. And things have only gone downhill since then. But while there have been others, one show in particular has seen us through the worst of it. South Park has always been controversial, crude, and crass, but it has also been smart and in many ways ahead of its time. That's probably why it's still going and how it's been able to maintain its relevance throughout the decades without really changing its format or approach much. And while it's not as often or readily discussed as it used to be when people would watch the show when it aired live on television, its popularity doesn't appear to be struggling, especially considering that South Park signed a $1.5 billion deal with Paramount Plus just last year. So as our self-proclaimed pro-peace president, bit of a tongue twister, continues to invade, attack, and threaten countries on various continents. I hear Ecuador is next, by the way. Our draft dodger-in-chief seems entirely unconcerned about whether or not people will die in all of these wars that he's starting. He said Americans would probably die, and some of them already have. And for what? Of course, among the Americans that will probably die, he's not counting the so-called fortunate sons. They ain't no senator's sons, nor are they the president's sons. And it just so happens that one of Trump's sons is the perfect age for military service. NME reported on the site and mentioned this perceived apathy towards the loss of others' lives. The U.S. president has been criticized for a lack of consultation with either Congress or the American public for the strikes, and many commentators have criticized a perceived lack of concern over the loss of life, according to reports from the BBC. At the time of writing, the death toll from the conflict currently stands at 787 people. Many have asked if he would be as indifferent were it his son being sent to fight. So Toby Morton, a former writer for South Park, in response to all of this, has created and launched a website called DraftBarronTrump.com. And at the top, it says, America is strong because its leaders are strong. President Trump proves that every day. Naturally, his son Barron is more than ready to defend the country his father so boldly commands. Service is honor, strength is inherited. Dog bless Barron. And there's also an About Us section featuring photos of Trump asleep, reading, "This site is dedicated to honoring the strongest and bravest voices in war. When power is projected abroad, it is only right that strength exists at home. If you're looking for proven genes, inherited courage, and unquestionable resolve, look no further than the Trump family. Leadership starts somewhere." And finally, there are testimonials from the other Trump men. Donald says, "People come up to me with tears in their eyes and they say, 'Sir, you're the strongest. Send Barron off to war. I've always been strong, very strong, stronger than anyone expected. Some say the strongest ever. And strength matters, believe me." Fake Don Jr. had this to say, "This moment is really about Barron, okay? Always has been. He represents strength, courage, and service. I will be honoring that sacrifice in my own way, mainly by talking about it from a safe distance." And of course, there is fake Eric. "People always say I'm stupid," which is totally unfair because I understand a lot about pancakes. Pancakes are complex. You've got batter, heat, timing. If you rush it, you ruin everything. I think about pancakes a lot, mostly pancakes. What is perhaps the most funny about all of this in a depressing kind of way is that Barron technically doesn't even qualify for military service because he is too tall. The kid is 6'9", which is crazy. I'm 5'0", so it's very hard for me to wrap my head around someone being that tall. But either way, Trump's son will never have to bear the burden of his father's legacy, at least not by losing his life. Perhaps in other ways. But Toby Morton has pulled stunts like this before, most recently purchasing the web domain TrumpKennedyCenter.com and populating the page with photos of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So does it change anything? No, of course it doesn't. It's not meant to. It's meant to publicly protest and criticize a government that deserves to be protested and criticized. It's for posterity, it's for history, it's for solidarity. It is not for them, it's for us. Because we can make fun of Trump for his bone spurs all we want, but it doesn't change the fact that the rich do whatever they want as long as they can get away with it, and they often do, in the sense especially that poor public opinion is rarely a deterrent for them. Public opinion only matters to them when it has the ability to hinder them in some way. Like before, when Trump thought that he needed people to like him so that they would vote for him, he later proclaimed that he didn't even need them for that, which was weird, but we all moved on from it, so again, he suffered no real consequence for doing whatever it is that he did. The masses are powerful in that they are numerous, but we see throughout history that a majority is often oppressed by a powerful minority. Power, it seems, is stronger and more acutely executed when it remains concentrated and potent. The masses, in order to be powerful, need to remain a mass because that is where it derives its power, which explains why there are so many efforts to conquer and divide us, even for people on the left who I believe at our core want things to be better for everyone, including Republican voters. We suffer from our own infighting though. We are constantly trying to convince Republicans to rethink their political alignments and allegiances, but we're not even as united as we could be on the left. It's not an easy thing to achieve, though, clearly. The left also has no clear leader right now. We've got Bernie, but let's be real, he is very old. AOC seems poised to pick up where he left off, but a lot of people don't like her anymore. It helps to stay organized, but disparate groups will need to find a way to come together if we're going to move past this era in our nation's history, and preferably it should happen quickly. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks. Hey, it's Yasmin Aaliyah Khan. Thank you so much for watching. If you're into what we're doing here, please hit that like button. It really helps. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Rebel HQ and hit that bell so that you never miss an upload. I've also got a playlist with all of my videos, so feel free to dive in and catch up there. And if you're over like the corporate spin and just want real people-powered news, hit that join button and be part of the movement. We couldn't do it without your support. Seriously, thank you so much. Stay informed, stay engaged, and I will see you in the next one.